Welcome back. This is Pillow Talk, the show about sleep. This is Kevin Fier. I am the president and CEO of Mattress Express, and this is a show about sleep. We just finished a past segment that was quite interesting, and in this segment, we're going to talk about weighted blankets. You may or may not have heard of them. You may be familiar with the idea, but really don't understand it. It's quite interesting with the research I've done. Again, may come as a great surprise to you. I'm not a medical doctor. These are just the experiences I have in my bedding stores and the research I do, and they're associated with sleep. And I try to get everybody to have a better night's sleep. So let's talk about weighted blankets. Weighted blankets are exactly what they say. They're a heavy blanket. They're weighted down. There's a lot of different people in my research that benefit supposedly from using a weighted blanket. I can see how they would. One that jumped right out at me was people with a sensory processing disorder. I know a little girl who has this. A sensory processing disorder is a condition that affects how your brain processes sensory information. Sensory information includes things you see, hear, smell, taste, or touch. SPD can affect all of your senses or just one. SPD usually means you're overly sensitive to stimuli that other people are not. Interesting, right? I know a little girl and she's very sensitive to touch. She lives a normal life. She's fine, but she very much benefits from a weighted blanket. Interesting stuff. Weighted blankets are like a hug, using a technique called deep pressure stimulation, DPS, to make the user feel more secure. This is a deep touch pressure applied to the body by hands, tools, or blankets that can relax the nervous system. The more I read about this, it seems to be associated with anxiety of some level. Not everything, but it seems a common thread throughout the benefits of a weighted blanket. 17 weighted blanket benefits, according to this article. It creates a calming effect. Makes sense, right? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I just need a weighted blanket, but, you know, a heavy blanket, especially in the winter on you, a heavy blanket. You know, I sleep with a heavy comforter and a sheet and sometimes a blanket. And it feels good to have that weight on you. People who use weighted blankets often report a calming modality. And for this reason, it is used for people who are stressed or have a disorder that makes them hyperactive. Interesting. Improves daytime social interactions. Weighted blankets have been found to improve social interactions during the day for users, mainly because they are able to get restful sleep the night before. Well, okay. Get a good night's sleep. You're going to interact with people better the next day. I say that all the time. I say sleep affects everything that we do. It really does. If you don't get a good night's sleep, boy, you're not as sharp the next day. You're not in as good of a mood. You don't produce at maximum level. Can affect your personality, can affect how you drive. It's important. It's important that you get the right bed and get a great night's sleep. You spend a third of your life sleeping. You got to make sure you're doing it the best you can. Weighted blankets increase serotonin. Serotonin impacts the sleep-wake cycle by regulating sleep stages and impacting the depth of sleep. Deep pressure touch has been shown to stimulate the release of serotonin, helping the user sleep more peacefully and soundly. Decreases nervous system activity. When the autonomic nervous system is overactive, it leads to anxiety, hyperactivity, and a slew of other issues. Weighted blankets can put your nervous system into rest mode, mitigating effects of anxiety such as shortness of breath or quickened heart rate. Makes sense, right? Seems like common sense stuff. Reduces nighttime movement. Of course, it's a heavy weight on you, but if you find yourself tossing and turning at night, having a weighted blanket on top of the body while sleeping can help reduce movement. Eases symptoms of restless leg syndrome. I know a person who suffers from this. It's no joke. Restless leg syndrome. Restless leg syndrome, RLS, is a condition that causes involuntary and rapid movement of the legs. This tends to happen when the person is affected The person affected is trying to fall asleep. It's been noted that applying pressure to the extremity of the legs for a significant amount of time can decrease symptoms of RLS. Listen, I think anybody with restless leg syndrome would enjoy any relief they could get, and it would be worth a try, right? Helps with fibromyalgia. People with chronic pain, such as fibromyalgia, have found comfort from the use of a weighted blanket. The blanket can help ease symptoms while helping break the cycle of anxiety, depression that often accompanies the illness. Again, anxiety, common thread through weighted blankets, lowers the incidence of seizures. Not all individuals who use a weighted blanket will report the same benefits, but potential positive effects include reduced incidence of seizures. Reduces heart rate. Touch therapy has been found to decrease heart rate. A weighted blanket stimulates touch therapy. It's pretty straightforward. Soothes panic disorder. Again, anxiety, common thread. Heavy blankets and vests have been shown to decrease panic attacks, prevent crisis states in people of all ages. Increases feeling of security. Makes sense. Weighted blankets, especially when wrapped around the body to create a swaddling effect, have demonstrated increased feelings of security. This feeling can help in other areas of your life, including improving sleep. Improves communicativeness. Boy, you said that 3 times fast. Another observed benefit of deep pressure stimulation includes increased communicativeness, particularly in children on the autistic spectrum. The feeling of safety and grounding may have something to do with this benefit. Fascinating. Helps manage OCD, more anxiety. Obsessive compulsive disorder has been linked to low serotonin levels. And as we cited earlier, a weighted blanket can help increase the release of serotonin in the body. The use of a weighted vest during the day can help, but during the night, a weighted blanket is best. This is all according to this article I found. Interesting stuff. Weighted blankets, if you're just tuning in. We're talking about the benefits of weighted blankets. This is Kevin Fear, president of Mattress Express, and your host of Pillow Talk, a show about sleep. Another benefit of weighted blankets is it alleviates the symptoms of menopause. Oh, here we go. Many women go through menopause and find that they experience sleep disruptions. They also report anxiety and depression. Anxiety, again, a weighted blanket can help with all of these symptoms, making it easier to get a good night's sleep. Calms people with sensory disorders. We touched on that in the beginning. I know a little girl with that disorder. It's real. She sleeps with a weighted blanket, and it really, really helps her. Improves the mood. This is interesting. Using a weighted blanket can lead to overall improvements in mood. This is because the pressure of a weighted blanket increases the production of the feel-good hormone oxytocin. I don't know what that is, but it's a feel-good hormone. Combined with a decrease in cortisol, the stress hormone, this can have a significant impact on a person's state of mind. Sure, it could. Induces and improves sleep. So they're saying here that it helps you fall asleep. Findings show that people who use a weighted blanket often notice they may stay asleep longer, have fewer disruptions during their sleep, and experience overall improved sleep. There's also been reports that a weighted blanket can help people fall asleep faster. You know, I might get a weighted blanket and just try it out. Also mentions people with ADHD, people that suffer from Alzheimer's, people with sleep disorders. So some of the pros, they provide several benefits to your physical and mental health, including soothing anxiety and reducing heart rate. Weighted blankets, one pro is the deep pressure stimulation provided increases the release of dopamine and serotonin. Cons, here we go. What are some of the downsides of a weighted blanket? They're heavy, so they can be difficult to travel with. They require extra care when cleaning. They're more expensive than a regular comforter. They sometimes get too hot if you're a hot sleeper. They take some time to get used to and may feel comfortable or awkward at first. We do not keep them on the shelves in our store. We can have the ability to get the weighted blanket that Purple sells, and we'd be happy to provide you with that. It's one of our brands in our stores is Purple, and they have a weighted blanket. This is Kevin Fear, president and CEO of Mattress Express, and I am your host of Pillow Talk, and today we talked about weighted blankets. Hey, listen, if you're listening to us in a market where we don't have stores, all I ask is that before you invest in your next sleep system, make the short drive. Give us a try. I think you're going to find that our brands are new and distinctive and interesting. You can call 1-800-NEW-BEDS, 1-800-NEW-BEDS. You can go to mattressexpressny.com, or you can email me at pillowtalkquestion@gmail.com. Hey, until next week, sleep well. Thank you for joining us. This is Kevin Fear on Pillow Talk.